Hey guys, Curtis here again, and in this video I just wanted to tell you about an interesting way that you can use muscle testing, which is also called consciousness calibration, taught by David R. Hawkins. If you're a Dr. Hawkins fan, you know what I'm talking about. If you're not, you shouldn't watch this video because you'll have no idea. But the way I muscle test is I put my fingers together like this, and I usually use my thumb and I press like that. So falsehood, truth, truth, it sticks. Falsehood, it breaks. And I'm really not breaking it on purpose or sticking it on purpose. It really just breaks when I say falsehood. When I say truth, it just sticks. So if you do that correctly, you can test a lot of stuff. But anyways, if you're already using muscle testing, I wanted to tell you about an interesting thing you can do with it, which is you cannot predict the future. That's the thing. The future is not set in stone yet. All there is possibilities, quantum potentiality, all that stuff that Dr. Hawkins talked about in some of his books. But what you can ask about is probability of what's going to happen in the future based on the present conditions right now. So you can ask what is likely to happen, or you can ask what is the percentage likelihood that something will happen tomorrow or a million years from now, based on what exists right now. You have to be careful with this because when you're trying to get probabilities about the future, uh, if you have personal blocks about it, you will not be able to do it right, which is the same thing with muscle testing, anything. But I have personally found that a lot of times when I'm trying to predict the future, so to speak, by asking about probabilities, um, I am trying to get something from it, maybe, or I'm trying to express a negative feeling about the future when I'm asking while using the muscle test, and so it doesn't work. However, if you're muscle testing properly, which means your question has integrity, you have integrity, your intention has integrity, you can ask about probabilities of the future, and in my experience, it oftentimes is correct. And I'll just give you an example of stuff I use it for on a daily basis. What I ask is based on present conditions, XYZ is probably going to happen, or this will probably be okay. So let me just give you an example that I just did the other day. I have some website that's completely unrelated to my YouTube channel, but I was having technical difficulties, and my web hosting, their tech support has gone way down in recent years. And I wanted to know, am I wasting my time by even going to them for help? Because a lot of times they can't help me. Maybe like 50% of the time they can help me. And I tested with muscle testing. I said, based on present conditions, they will, I think I said something like, they will probably be able to solve this problem for me. And I tested, and it was false. And I went to them for help, and I spent like a long time chatting with them, and eventually they couldn't help me, and my website is still having the problem. And so my prediction that they probably won't be able to help me was correct. Now that's kind of a weird thing to use it for. I'm going to give you something fun that I used muscle testing for, about a year or two ago, and that was to help me pick out birthday presents for my fiance. And she doesn't know I did this. She's not really into the whole Dr. Huggins thing. She's never read Power vs. Force or any of his books. She's only briefly heard me talk about it a little bit. But what I did was I found a website that listed every major Amazon category of product category. And then you can click on the product category and go to subcategories and so on and so forth. And what I did to find a good birthday present for her was I asked with muscle testing, I tested statements saying she would probably, or I think I said something like, the gift that she would probably enjoy using the most is in this category. And I would test that statement, and it would be false, false, false. And then I found a category that was true. And then I kept testing. And you can add qualifiers to that. For example, you can say, if you're buying a gift for someone and you don't know what to buy, you could say, the gift that my friend so and so would probably enjoy receiving from me the most that costs under $50 right now is found in this category. And you test it, oh, it's false. This category, oh, test it, it's false. You test 10 different categories, which is really quick. It's like 10 seconds. And you find one where it tests true. And then I clicked, that's what I basically did. I said, I was testing statements about which category contains the gift she would probably enjoy the most. And so I went through all these categories and subcategories, deeper, like 5 or 6 rows deep. And finally, I found a cute little purse. Like the muscle test led me to some cute little purse. And I tested it a few times to make sure I was getting good results. And it said, yes, she would probably like this a lot. And so I bought that for her a few years ago, and she really actually did like it and used it a lot and still uses it. And I bought her something else. I think it was like a necklace or something. Yeah, I actually know. I bought her a few things back then. Oh, you know what? I think I used muscle testing to buy her a purse and some sort of hair product that she had told me she wanted some type of hair product, and I used muscle testing to ask which one would she probably enjoy using exactly the most. So if someone says like, "Oh, I need a new sweater," you can go to the clothing store and you can use muscle testing and say, "Okay, where is where in the store is the exact sweater that this person would probably enjoy receiving the most?" And I ask questions like this with muscle tests all the time. I ask, okay, if I leave, you can ask something like, if I leave my house at noon for my appointment, will I probably get to the appointment on time through the traffic? And if it says yes, you could say, okay, what's the percentage likelihood right now that if I leave tomorrow at noon, I'll make it to my appointment by 1 p.m. through city traffic? Oh, the percentage is 86%. So you're not predicting the future. What you are doing is getting a probability of what is going to happen in the future based on what is exactly in existence right now. So what you're actually doing is analyzing right now, but you're asking about the future. Now, some questions, they're actually totally unpredictable. Some things are not set in stone enough to actually get a probability. For example, going into the Trump versus Biden election, for a long time, my result kept giving a slight probability to Trump winning, but eventually, it happened and he lost. And if you want to use muscle testing to investigate, different things about the election, you can, different claims people have made, stuff like that. I actually didn't want to make this video political at all. But so probabilities do change. I remember something like 3 to 6 months before the election, Trump had something like a 58% chance of winning according to the muscle test. But that can obviously change a lot. All it takes is one big news story, and people's perceptions change, and people vote differently and stuff like that. But anyways, and another problem is with politics, you can get very personally invested and get wrong answers because you're not asking questions with integrity. But anyways, regardless of politics, you can ask about what people will probably like for a birthday present. You can ask about, what will probably happen tomorrow based on today. You can ask all these things, and you can ask specifically what are the chances of different things happening. And if you're not personally invested in it, if you're asking in integrity and you have integrity, you can get the right answer. Another thing you can do is you can analyze the quality of, this is just a random thing that I occasionally do. You can analyze the quality of a product before you buy it. For example, I just got a new phone because my phone company forced me to upgrade, and they offered me a free phone because my old one was becoming like obsolete because of the 5G rollout, and they gave me like 4 different choices. And what I said first, I tested the quality of each phone design, and some of them were below 200, which means, I don't know, it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to like fail while you're using it, like burn out like a circuit, but it probably means like it wasn't designed well, or they didn't put enough effort into designing the user experience or something like that. And so you can test the quality of like a part before you put it in your car. You can say, okay, what is the quality of this calibrated at? Sometimes the quality is below 200, but then you ask, wait a second, does the quality need to be above 200 in order for it to actually do its job right? And sometimes the answer is actually no. So you might put like an oil filter on your car that the quality is poor, but it's actually good enough for your car because your car is old and doesn't need a really good oil filter or something like that. I don't know. You can also ask about your own preferences. I do this all the time. So I just said you can ask what gift will someone probably enjoy the most. When I buy something, I use the muscle test and I ask which one will I probably enjoy using the most out of these. And sometimes the answer I get is that both things are very similar, but I can ask exactly. I actually use the word exactly. I say, um, for example, if I'm buying like, if I go to the store and there's like chocolate ice cream of the expensive brand and chocolate ice cream of the cheap brand and chocolate ice cream of the really cheap brand, in my grocery store there's like four different brands of chocolate ice cream. I can ask, even though I know I'll enjoy all of these chocolate ice creams pretty much a lot because I love chocolate ice cream, I can ask which one would I probably enjoy exactly the most, absolutely exactly. So even if they're both like, even if one is like 99% as enjoyable as the other, you can ask which one would I probably enjoy exactly most. Sometimes I get the answer that I would actually enjoy them both exactly the same. But oftentimes when I'm buying a product, I get the answer that one is better for me than the other. And it's not just something as silly as chocolate ice cream. You can use like anything. You can ask a question about a food you've never tried before. Like at a restaurant, I've done this before at restaurants. I can ask about a plate of food I've never had before. I can ask with the muscle test, I would probably enjoy eating this. Sometimes it'll test true, and so I'll try it out and I enjoy it. Sometimes it tests false, so I don't try it because I don't want to waste my money. And sometimes I've actually tested like, okay, I got an answer saying I probably won't enjoy it, but I'm gonna try it anyways because it sounds interesting, and I end up never enjoying it very much. So I'm like, it was right. The muscle test was right. And there was something else I wanted to mention. Oh, you can ask for things that you personally have no idea what to do. For example, this is an interesting little thing that worked out well. I wanted a new sauce to put on a Brussels sprout recipe. This is kind of random, but it's something I use the muscle test for. And I had no idea what to flavor my Brussels sprouts with to make them taste good. So I went to the grocery store and I started using the muscle test just with my little finger in the grocery store. No one really notices or sees what you're doing. And I started asking where in the store can I find the sauce that would probably taste the best to me on cooked Brussels sprouts. And it actually, I used the muscle test to find the right aisle that had the sauce, and I found the right exact sauce by testing where on the shelves the sauce was, and then I tested each one until I found it. And this sounds like a complicated process, but when you're testing with your finger like that, it takes like 2 seconds to do one test. So you end up spending like, 1 or 2 minutes going through the store to find something. And I ended up finding a really fantastic, some type of garlic soy sauce type of thing that I tried it on the Brussels sprouts and it was amazing. So you can actually identify things that you will enjoy before you've ever tried them before by using the muscle test, or things other people will enjoy. And so, next time you're Christmas shopping, which is coming up, if you haven't already bought your gift set, and if you know how to muscle test, you can go on Amazon and you can just look at different products and test the question or the statement. Actually, this person that I'm buying this gift for, they would probably enjoy receiving this gift. And a lot of times you'll get a false, and then you might get a true, and you say, okay, that's the gift I want to buy. And so that's just something really neat and fun that I use the muscle test for. And I think with stuff like that, sometimes you're really invested emotionally, you know, like if your car breaks down and you need to fix it and you need to spend a bunch of money. what I typically do with that is, I'll ask something like, which automotive dealer can I trust? Or which auto shop can I trust to fix my car right? And which ones will probably fix my car the right way and not screw up? And so you can test questions like that about probabilities. Like a lot of times, employees will not have integrity personally, but they will have integrity at the job, which means they can do the job right and are going to do the job right, probably. And you can test the level of integrity and capability at the job that the employee does right. So before you use an employee, you can test their competency um, at using like an auto shop to repair your car or anything. You can test, will this motor oil probably work for my car? You can go to the store and literally just do the test, and you can ask which motor oil is probably going to be the most effective at keeping my motor running smooth. And you test down the road and you find one, and a lot of times you'll find two or three options that it says are all the same. It might say are all the same. So you can ask this about pretty much anything, and it's really amazing. And another thing, if you're a business owner or some kind of hiring manager, you can test people's capabilities before you hire them. You can test, okay, is this person capable of doing this job? Yes. Do they have the skills right now? No. But are they interested in learning skills? Yes. Oh, if I hire them, would they probably be able to learn the job and do it well within 60 days? Yes. Oh, okay, maybe I should hire them. Do they have personal integrity? You can test that. So, has this employee ever stolen from an employer before? You can test that. It occurs to me, if a CEO of a major corporation like Walmart was able to train a team to test every employee before they hire them, they could actually reduce employee theft down to zero, because they could identify every employee that's stolen from the store and fire them. And then every time they hire a new employee, they could test, has this employee ever stolen from an employer before? No. Okay. Do they have any intention of stealing from an employer? Or you can ask, like, do their personal morals indicate that they would probably be willing to steal from an employer? Yes or no? So you could actually do a lot of good with this. And Dr. Hawkins talked about using it in business. Testing out. He once mentioned testing out commercials that make people go weak versus strong, and you can test out, like, is this thing going to probably be effective at communicating to your customers, so on and so forth. But anyways, I just wanted to make that video about probably. I use the word probably a lot when I calibrate stuff, because I'm always asking. Basically, anytime I make a purchase decision that costs more than a few dollars, I usually just bust out the little finger muscle test and I say which one is probably going to be the best option for me. And it basically always works out, unless I'm like emotionally freaking out at that moment for some reason, because I have an attachment that's involved with what's going on. But usually it works out great. And it's pretty easy to be unattached when you're making decisions, like a purchasing decision that's not like make or break, not going to cost you your life savings. It's pretty easy to be emotionally detached. But if you're a person who knows how to muscle test, you should try out the word probably when making decisions. Which decision is probably the best one for me? Another way you can use this is job opportunities. You're looking at jobs online. You can ask, which of these jobs would I probably enjoy working at the most? Which of these jobs would probably be the best fit for me? And you can ask different questions. Which boss would I probably enjoy working under the most? So on and so forth. So that's a really cool idea. I've used it a lot. It works a lot. A lot of times I do get proven results, at least, not like scientifically proven that I can prove, oh, this worked, but I test something and my muscle test says it will work, and then it does work. Or I test something and the muscle test says it won't work, and then I try it anyways just out of curiosity, and it doesn't work. So go ahead and try that if you know how to muscle test. And I'll see you in the next video.